Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Algorand, taking a look at the most recent price action on the 1 hour, 1 day, and 1 week timeframes, giving my thoughts and opinions on where I think Algorand is heading next. Now, as I get into today's video, if you do find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, you're missing a trick. You should check it out. Link is down below. Let's jump right down into today's video, kicking things off with the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so we're just going to start here. This is Algorand paired up with USDT. We're using Binance as the data source here on the 1 hour time frame. Now, we hit a new bear market low, at least I believe it's a new bear market low down here just a few hours ago. Let's go ahead and just take this out to the daily just for 1 second here, just to kind of check. So it's not quite a new bear market low. The bear market low was in August this year. So that was actually down over here. So it's 8.2 cents. So it's not a new bear market low, but it is a new local low that happened here on this 1 hour time frame. Okay, so as we can kind of see, we've had this move to the downside. We've got the change of characterization because we are in a bearish structure. So change of character, and we've had the break of structure. So essentially this here is a confirmation that we are bearish. And of course, well, we've had that new local low down here as well, heading down again towards a new bear market low. Okay, so for Algorand here, it doesn't look overly strong. We can see here that we have had this rather impulsive break to the downside, and it doesn't look like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon. So when we take a look at this from an Elliott wave theory point of view, we can see that we have this impulsive break to the downside just here, this 5-wave structure, a bounce up, and then another impulsive movement to the downside. This is obviously on the back of a zigzag pattern on this side, and so my expectations are that we are getting close to a reversal, but we're not necessarily there just yet. Okay, so when I take a look at this, we have ourselves an A, B, C structure here. Okay, then we have a 5-wave drop. So this can be looked at as a 335 just in here. And then we had this move up coming into a corrective action here. Okay, 1, 2, and 3 like so. And then we're starting this new slippage to the downside. Okay, so we'll bounce up and then we'll probably fall back down again. My expectation will be that we'll end up with another 3-wave move to the downside, taking us into a new bear market low past the 8.2 cent area. Okay, so it doesn't look like we are done with the moves to the downside just yet. We probably have a little bit more to go before we start to see that significant bounce, but I would expect this to continue bleeding out overall. Okay, so if we take this out into the daily time frame, you can see the bear market low being the 88.2 cent, and you can see this slippage continuing, right? So we're below the 200 EMA, we are below the 50 moving average and the 50 EMA. Essentially, everything here is not looking strong. On our daily chart, we are also in this bearish structure. It actually goes much higher though. As you can kind of see, we've not really been in a bullish one on Algorand for quite a significant period of time. November 2021, in fact, was pretty much it. As you can see, the all-time high on the Binance chart anyway comes in up here at $3.73. This was pretty much on launch. Let me see if I can actually get that on there. It's $3.40, sorry. And that was in 2019, which means it hasn't even had a new all-time high in the previous bull market. Okay, that came to $2.99. And we are slipping down quite a bit more aggressively than we did in March of 2020. Essentially here, Algorand doesn't look like it's in a strong position whatsoever, right? So here we can just zoom out of this for a second, right? I know there's a lot of hype around Algorand. A lot of people seem to think that it's going to perform incredibly well, and it's got some fantastic connections. It's ISO and all these kind of wonderful things, right? However, if we take a look at it from a technical analysis point of view, it is definitely not one that I want to make sure that I want to have exposure to. Now, I did buy into this back in the previous bull run, and of course, all ships rise with a rising tide, but we can't trick ourselves into thinking that this thing has a lot of legs to go on. Or should we? Okay, and this is the thing, right? we take a look at this and we think to ourselves, okay, well, it's very, very bearish, right? It's basically gone down lower than it was in March of 2020. And for the most part, I kind of say this looks like a very, very bad place to be. And you don't want to necessarily have exposure to Algorand in the next bullish market. Okay, but if we were to flip that idea, right, and we were to kind of look at it from a slightly different lens, we could potentially see this performing well. Okay, so I don't want to say that it's a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination, because I do not think it is. I think that Algorand is not one for me personally. I think the risks do not outweigh the rewards do not outweigh the risks. I think this is a highly risky play, and a lot of people do believe that it's going to do incredibly well. I'm not one of them. However, if we were to look at it from a bullish lens and from an Elliott wave theory point of view, we could look at this as actually about to have a significant breakout, okay, based on the idea that it actually is already completing its big bearish structures pretty much from 2019. If this is the case, then we've already come down onto the 1-to-1, okay? And the next move could be something totally different that the history of algo does not show us. Okay, we could be looking at a 5-wave move to the upside that does go into a new all-time high. Okay, my point here is that this could be a completed bear market structure that spanned the beginning of 2019 all the way through into 2023. So we're talking like a 4-year run on a bearish pattern playing out, right? Which means that the next move could be a very bullish one to the upside. Personally, I don't think the risks, the rewards outweigh the risks. I wouldn't be necessarily looking at it through this particular lens, but for the most part, there is a potential to the upside. Personally, I prefer to think of Algorand as something that isn't necessarily going to be as successful as a lot of people believe it to be. Now, this is mainly because I haven't seen the kind of performance from the team and from the history of price action to kind of give me the confidence to think that Algorand can perform. There are many different cryptocurrencies out there, and very few of them have gone down lower than the March 2020 levels. And so when we take a look at Algorand here, we have to know and we have to acknowledge it's got a very long way to climb to come back to those levels that it was at previously. So I'm very, very cautious with this one. I do hold Algorand, but I do not consider it a part of my portfolio. I've held it for a number of years and I just kind of leave it in a wallet and forget about it, right? I'm not concerned with it. And so if it does well, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, I don't care. I'll hold on to it. That's not a huge investment for me, right? But for the most part, my expectations are it will rise, but I'm not expecting a new all-time high, okay? So that's going to be where that sits. Now, if I take this out into the weekly chart, you can still see I'm looking for further downside, right? And so we take a look at this. We're looking at essentially coming down a little bit deeper here on Algorand, and then I think we're done with the bear market. But as you know, that's going to be a new bear market low that is lower than March of 2020, and is going to be very, very difficult to kind of see and come up, rise from the ashes, and do significantly well in the future. But that's just my opinions on Algorand. I think I'm just going to keep this video short and sweet there. If you found it useful, informative, smash the like button. If you're new, subscribe. And if you're looking for a bit more detail, maybe join us down in the Discord. Link is in the description down below. Let me know your thoughts are in the comments below as well. Are you a believer in Algorand, or do you think that this one might just not be as successful as many people wish it to be? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next one.